It all started with Suga, the female pimp. Suga was the first female pimp I had met. My youngest daughter, Chelsea, met Suga's daughter in class and asked her who did her hair. Chelsea gave Suga my business card to call me. Suga was off the hook from the first conversation. I really thought it was a joke when Suga called me saying she was putting on a private strip show at her house for some corporate men coming in from out of town to see these 5 freaky chicks who she managed. She was all about their money. She wanted them to look hot and wanted a group rate on their hair as well as for me to come to her house to do it. I went along with it, discussing the details, laughing, saying, okay. I didn't think she was serious because I had never heard anyone talk that way. But the more we talked about it, I finally realized she was dead serious. For the first 6 months moving here, I was doing hair out of my home and going to other people's crib. My Nevada cosmetology license was still being processed, so I couldn't legally work in my profession until it came through. I did have my Michigan cosmetology license, but government agencies don't care. Vegas laws are so strict. That's totally not the case in Detroit. Hairstylists have been doing hair all their life in salons, got commercials, and own the place, and still don't have a cosmetology license. I work for, well, I don't want to put that in writing. I pay enough taxes already. But anyway, hair is all I've done in 8 years. I had to get my money. My kids knew the deal. This was a family business. They were my models and they helped get customers so they could eat, sleep, and live good. It was all for us. I agreed to go to Suga's house, but I was kind of scared. I put my mace in my back pocket and my sharp pocket knife in the front pocket, covering them with a loose black t-shirt. I always keep mace and a hammer in my car just in case something jumps off and I need to back it up off me. I don't want to kill anyone, just knock their ass out if necessary. Basic survival skills you pick up coming from a city like Detroit. I wasn't over alarmed going over there. It's good to be proactive when in doubt. Suga was an interesting looking lesbian black woman. She had strong male-like features. She was tall, brown-skinned, very muscular, and rocked a blonde, boyish fade. She played a lot of sports and had won a couple of bodybuilding competitions in her day. She was very friendly, hyper like me, and had a great sense of humor. When she talked about something, she got real excited and moved back and forth, flexing her muscles like a dude, while repeatedly putting one fist in the palm of her hand when she talked to emphasize a statement. She made me laugh all the time. Suga was out of her mind in the way she saw the world. According to her, we women should handle our business and get money from these men at all costs. Over time, she tried to encourage me to sell my ass if I needed some extra money to take care of my kids. Told me, ain't nothing wrong with it. Suga's wife, I will call her Denise, was a hot mess. A handful for Suga to deal with. The first time I went to her home, she had been trying to wake Denise up for 25 minutes when I got there around 2 p.m. Denise was a tall, slim, 40-year-old biracial woman who could pass to be in her late 20s, with fine textured hair, shoulder length, and was very nice looking. You could tell she drank way too much and dabbled in a little partying. Partying here in Vegas means hitting drugs like cocaine, pills, meth, basically hardcore shit. Suga treated her like a princess. She had her breakfast and coffee ready to serve as we walked to the back bedroom. I was given a chair to sit down on while Denise slowly sat up in bed with a cigarette in her mouth, which Suga lit for her. I was introduced and she was very happy to meet me. We chatted about putting a weave in her hair and what style would look best on her while I showed her photos of my work, and Suga sorted through her clothes. She was trying to find something for Denise to wear, holding up different clothes for us to see. Denise repeatedly shook her head no, making faces of disapproval, then returning to our conversation. Denise talked in a low, sweet voice, a quiet diva. She would say, "Excuse me, sweetie, get this," and "Get that. Can I have some more of? And where is my?" to Suga, who by then was ironing Denise's clothes. Next, Suga turned on the shower for her, finished with her breakfast, and on her second cigarette, Denise got out of the bed naked, walked across the room in front of me to the bathroom, saying, "I'll see you shortly." I was told I could go and meet the other 4 girls whose hair I was there to do as well. We walked across the hall, through the living room, to the family room. 4 girls sat submissively until Suga gave them permission to get up. She had them chicks in check. And boy, they were some hood rats to look at for real. Not too cute in the face, but they all had big booties and big tits, which all these guys care about anyway. Wasn't nothing I could do to make them look too hot. But hey, at least I could give them the best celebrity look we've ever. Maybe I could give them a sweeping bang to the side and cover up half their face. Okay, that was a mean statement, but it is what it is. Suga wasn't too hard on her girls, but they didn't make a move without her approval. I ended up doing Denise's hair first, her being the bottom bitch. Finished all the other girls around 11:30 that evening, just in time for them to get to the strip club where they all worked, except for one. I never could remember the girl's name. I'll call her No Name Girl. But she had this urinary problem that caused her to pee on herself whenever she got excited. She did it one time on the stage and once in a man's lap at the strip club. The man beat her up so bad he knocked her teeth out of her mouth. She had to have 4 bridges put in to look normal. I swear, she took all of her teeth out of her mouth to show me. I never seen anything like that. But she got her money on the whole stroll. No Name Girl wasn't even allowed to do the private party Suga hosted at her house. I was there one time because I made house calls to them several times a week, getting together the girls' hair and makeup as Suga and her daughter, who went to school with my daughter, got the house ready for the men who were coming over. They had separated the living, dining, and family room with huge black sheets tacked to the 4 corners of each wall to block out anyone being able to see what was around the next black sheet they had placed. Strobe lights were everywhere, and a DJ was setting up in a 2-car garage where the men would have to enter before getting in. Suga had tables and chairs set up with a minibar and liquor to drink in the house. The clients could play cards or dominoes. She had set out some homemade chicken and spaghetti with cheese. If the men wanted to enter the house, they had to pay a fee and get searched by a security dude. Now the funny thing was, it wasn't the first time I had seen this type of thing. Stripper card parties were very common in Detroit as well. That's how women raise rent sometimes in the hood and up out of the hood. All her girls make a little extra money at the same time. It's the same concept as doing it in a strip club. But necessity is the mother of invention ghetto way to keep all the in-house fees to yourself. Now, I didn't go beyond what I told you. Sure, I was curious to see what went on. The clients who came looked like decent businessmen who could get any woman they wanted if they tried. They chilled in the open garage like it was just some get-together as the women mingled with them. Suga walked back and forth talking shit. She got a big ass, don't she, dog? Or, she can give some good head, homie. It didn't take more than an hour before them dudes were going through the house to get served. One of the rooms had been set up so the men could get naked lap dances from the girls in a semi-dark ass room with strobe lights blinking in and out. The other two rooms had little cots on the floor where dudes were getting sucked and the girls were getting banged every which way you can imagine. After peeking in, because I told you, I didn't stay long. I left Suga's business. I had to get out of there and go make sure my kids had eaten the dinner that I had cooked earlier. Suga was very generous and paid me well for taking care of her girls. She was tough on the dudes though. I watched her knock a dude straight out. He disrespected Denise, calling her a hoe ass bitch. You might as well have looked at Suga like she was a dude because she didn't play that. Me and her got along really well. I always loved strong women. I felt very comfortable around her most of the time, but she wasn't wrapped too tight upstairs. She would do some random shit sometimes. Like when I was getting ready to leave her house after finishing Denise's hair. Me and Suga was sitting there, kicking it, laughing at stupid shit, when she took my hand and said, "Come here, I need to show you something. You gotta be aware of what's going on out here." Taking me to her bedroom, she then turned on the television. She popped in a video of 4 gay men having group sex. I stood there watching like, huh? What the hell do I need to see male gay porn for? She told me I just needed to know. So I could only watch about 10 or 15 minutes before I walked out. As she walked out behind me, I'm hearing her yell, "Every man got a little bitch in them, and it was my job to bring it out." Confused, all I could say was, "Okay, Suga, thank you for sharing." I went home traumatized that day. And you know what? I'm still traumatized to this day. Oh, it gets worse. Once I had done her daughter's hair in braids. Upon finishing, Denise and Suga told me they had a surprise for me. They put me in a chair in the middle of the living room floor, told me to sit down and close my eyes. When I opened them after they said to, Suga's daughter, who then went to middle school with my daughter, was standing with the tiny 2-piece bathing suit on and 6-inch stiletto heels, performing a strip dance that Denise had taught her. This 12-year-old child was gyrating to the floor, dropping down in splits while popping her butt. Pause. What the fuck? What in the hell? They think that shit was cute? What kind of person did they think I was? Teaching a young child to follow in the footsteps of a stripper? Let me tell you, I was shocked. I didn't know what the hell to do. They were standing there screaming, "Go on, girl, do that shit." I just looked at them and said, "Wow, who taught her to dance like that?" These crazy bitches, Suga and Denise, started arguing because they both wanted to take credit for her stripper dance. When it was over, they clapped and said, "Good job." Suddenly, I received a phone call from my children. Yeah, that's how I get out of bullshit. So I left. I drove home devastated, thanking God that He gave me enough good sense to raise my children differently. I know I sound self-righteous, but it is what it is. Let me reinforce the Suga thing with another experience. I had to do hair at another client's house, and her 3 kids, who were between the age of 2 and 5, were sitting on the couch watching a horror flick with adults having graphic sex throughout the film before the killer got to them. I was thinking, why would you expose your children's young minds to that trash? What happened to cartoons. Another time, this lady whose hair I used to do used to make her daughter take a bath, then lie on the bed wet while she beat her black and blue for an hour. I confess, I turned that bitch in. We all have a responsibility to make a small difference when it comes to children. If you don't take a stand for something in life, then you will fall for anything. Kids need our love and protection. They don't need us to teach them our bad habits and give them our life experiences that fucked up our lives. Back to Suga and the drama that had started to affect my own personal life. I went home to sit down with my kids to share with them what was going on over there. I needed to teach them to be aware of their surroundings. I told them if I ever catch them doing some crazy mess, I was going to knock the sense back into them. My daughter had become so close to Suga's daughter that she went to church with us. Why did this little girl come running out the house with the same white stripper stilettos her other mama Denise wore? Wasn't nothing we could do. We just kind of talked under our breath like, what? As she got in the car. She only did that one time after getting so many appalling stares at the church we went to. That never happened again. Thank God my license had finally come in from the state of Nevada. I was so tired of going over to Suga's house and everyone else's house. It was more time consuming running around and waiting for people to get ready when I showed up. I wasn't spending a lot of time with my kids, and we had just moved here. I chose this salon on Decatur Boulevard. It was a nice salon filled with private rooms. Suga helped me move all my stuff in. She even decorated my walls and reupholstered my salon styling chair with African print that I had picked out. She bought me a mini palm tree and all the accessory decor to make it look Caribbean themed. She and Denise became my regular clients at the salon until I needed to create new business cards to promote my work. For more on this story and others in my book, Confessions from a Las Vegas Hairstylist, you can find it on Amazon. Download the ebook or buy your copy today. Thank you for listening.